everyone, and welcome to the Ladies Tale and I Thought Ladies podcast because I haven't decided yet. I'm thinking and I thought though, because I should have thoughts, and then after that, there should be a and I. So, and I thought normally would work. And this is something you should never do for an interview, by the way. Say something and go, oh, shoot. That's why today we are going to talk to a PR, uh, oh God, PR professional. That's that word. And that's staying in because, I write for a living. I pick words for a living. Can you believe it? Anyway, I'm Winona, and high five to me. I remember to introduce myself. I would do the high five dance, but I've been told I look a little weird doing it, so just this then. Anyway, I wrote books, and there's normally a Jade, and I would normally say we wrote books, but she's not here today. And I thought divorce was bad, and I thought being grown up was easy. If only I were me, a memoir in verse, Widow's Web, Widow's Debt, and Foreign Coffee. Those are six of the audiobooks that you can find wherever audiobooks are sold. And just in case you are brand new to this, no, we do not just have six books. You would call us immature baby writers, I'm sure. No, we have 19. So you can see the rest of the 13 books at www.andithoughladies.com. And I would sit here and talk about me and my adorable bulb all day with my cute little ribbon. But apparently, when you interview people, it can't just be about you. Note that every time it's about me doing the conversation where I'm interviewing someone, y'all should note it. Anyway, so you're not here to hear about me. You're here to hear about our wonderful guest. Wonderful guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
You're so funny. That was great. Hey, everybody. I'm Christina Daves, PR strategist. Um, Three things that you don't know about me. I won Steve Harvey's top inventor competition on his show, which was amazing. Um, I host an incredible podcast called Living Ageless and Bold. It tells the journeys and the stories of women over 50, but it's inspiring younger women too. And I have never had a cup of coffee in my life. How about that?
Wow. How do you
Right.
feel?
Diet Coke.
Oh, okay.
No
Wow.
hate mail, no shaming. I've been doing it for a long time. So
I
I
do
can't
not shame
stop.
you. I'm allergic to caffeine. So,
Oh.
yeah. So that's why I asked. It was for personal use.
And no, I do. I have my one Diet Coke every day.
Oh, that's how you stay fabulous.
Yeah.
Because I like everyone who drinks Diet Coke, they always look fabulous. I don't know what that is. They should
Oh,
do a commercial about that.
they should. Exactly.
It should be like 40 over 45 and fabulous Diet Coke.
Diet Coke. I like it. I like it. We should pitch that.
We really should. And you're in PR, so it'll work.
Yeah.
So let's get rid of the question that everybody wants to know, and then we can have a real conversation.
Okay.
Question everyone wants to know is how do I get on television and or Good Morning America?
Yeah.
Can you give us
You
three pieces of advice?
you have to be newsworthy. You have to pitch something that's valuable to their audience. I tell my clients this, don't take this wrong. I'm not being mean. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They care about the value to their audience. Period. That's it. And you have to be good on TV. I mean, you have to, you can't just be a boring talking head. You've got to have energy. You've got to bring energy. I talked about Steve Harvey. One of the women I was on the show with was so flat, and they were like, whoa, you were not like that in the stuff we saw about you. If you don't pep it up, you're off the show. Like, we can't have you on here like this. So it's really important that you bring TV if that's what you want.
That. Thank you. Okay, so apparently I'm going to need to be more peppy.
Yeah. Really, I know. You're just not quite there yet. Sorry.
Oh my God. So, okay, now we can talk about regular things. How did you
Okay.
get started in PR? Like, out of all the things you could have done, because you've been on like 1,000 shows.
Totally, literally accidentally. I had owned a retail store with my best friend for 10 years. It was the greatest job ever till I just got totally burned out. Like, it's a lot. Anyone who's watching or listening, if you've done retail, you know Thanksgiving to Christmas, you work 24/7. That's where you make your money, those 6 weeks. So I was done after 10 years. I'm like, I'll retire. I'll go volunteer at the school. I'm going to, do things for my kids. Well, once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur. And I had a freak accident and broke my foot and ended up in a one of those big, ugly medical boots. And we were going to New York City, fashion capital of the world. And I'm Googling, medical boot fashions, medical boot accessories. And there was nothing on the market. My husband will tell you, he literally saw the light bulbs go off in my head. And I'm like, I'm going to invent a fashion line for it, which I did. And the problem was I had invented a whole new space in the marketplace, and I hired a coach, which we've all done. And I hired a bad guy coach who took all my money and didn't do anything. But I would not be where I was today if he didn't steal my money. So that's the good news. But I had all this product. I didn't know what to do. I had no money for advertising or PR. So I literally went to the library and I started flipping through PR books because landing publicity is free. You're pitching. And I got really good at it really fast. I was in 50 media outlets my first year of business. And then I would go to these entrepreneurial conferences and people are like, forget the boot. How do you do that? I want to learn how to do that. And and we were at a conference in California and it was supposed to be PR for everyone, but I couldn't buy the domain. It was taken. I now own it. That's how PR for anyone came about because like, oh, anyone can get PR. We'll just do that. And I bought the domain at the conference and the rest is history.
That is amazing. 50 media outlets.
Yeah.
I want
You just
50
have to
media outlets.
give them what they want,
I
learn
only
what they
have
want.
3,000 interviews. I want 50 media outlets. That I can't claim.
We can
So,
do it.
what what did you find was essential for a great pitch?
Timely. You have to be timely. And I made this mistake over and over again. And I got in the media maybe a year after I pitched something evergreen. But if you really want to do it and you really want to do it right, you need to pitch timely, relevant stories where they have to give you a yes or a no. So it doesn't just go into a file. Oh, this will be good someday. You want them. Oh, this is Valentine's Day, is February 14th, 4th of July, whatever that is. They have to tell you yes or no because they can't put you on February 15th on a Valentine's Day story or, a back to school. They're not going to put you on in December because back to school is August, September. So when you have those timely, relevant pitches, A, they love them. And B, you have to get an answer.
I love that. I tell all of my people to come to me um to look at at least look at the national days calendar
Yes.
because that's
It's
your biggest
brilliant. I
like
do it all the
what?
time. I do it. I've been, listen, I love wine. If there's a wine holiday, I will pitch it because I love
February
sharing.
18th.
Yeah. So last year I was on for that. And then this year I had done something else that was a little too close to get back on again. But I love pitching those days. It works.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. Um, okay, so we just covered that. Sorry, I really wanted to ask. I'm not like what was your first interview like? Like how excited were you? How stressed out were you about what to wear?
Well, let me tell you, my first interview was on the Steve Harvey show, which never happens ever. You're never on national television. It was a fluke media query that I had responded to in August. And it said, do you have a product you want to take to the next level? And then in parentheses, it said national television. I didn't even know it was Steve Harvey. They called me, I think it was like October. And we were at a booster club meeting at the high school. And I'm talking to the producers and they're like, we want you to come. I'm like, oh my God, yay. And I'm like, when? Tomorrow. What's the name on your driver's license and your airport of choice? I was like, what? What? I mean, I didn't even have time to think. So I go to Chicago. I have a driver, he's got my name. It was unbelievable. I was so petrified. I don't even think I had spoken on a stage at this point. And I called my friend in Philadelphia who's a hypnotist. And I said, Brian, you have to hypnotize me. I can't do this. Like I can't do it. I'm gonna throw up. I had no saliva in my mouth. It was awful. But I'll tell you what he told me. And I tell everybody this, and it saved me that day. And he was absolutely right. So when you get a TV interview, I want you to remember this. He said, Christina, nobody there wants to see you fail. Nobody in that audience wants to see you fail. And I'll never forget it. And I was nervous when I got there, but I looked out, he has a live studio audience. And this woman, probably in her late 60s, she had on a red sweater and she just looked at me with a twinkle in her eye and a smile. I can still see her face as clear as day. And I'm like, I got this. I got this. And I did. And I won the competition. I won $20,000 when I was broke. That was huge, huge.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I am so jealous. Oh my God. What? I'm still waiting for national TV in this country. I'm like, God, I want national TV in this country. The first
You
time I
can
ever
do
had
it.
national TV, I drank a flask full of scotch. It helped
Oh,
immensely.
before you went on?
Yeah, I was in the green room
Oh,
chugging scotch.
oh my goodness. Okay.
They said I did amazing. They were like, that was fun. It ought to be.
Listen, media begets media. It doesn't matter if you were on in another country, use that to get on here.
That's a good idea. Okay, so we talked about
All of
the
those.
we gotta definitely I gotta squeeze in this podcast because this podcast sounds amazing and you're just an
Yeah.
absolute blast to interview. But I feel like you've done it a few times, like a few hundred times. I feel like you've done an interview a few hundred.
Maybe 1,000. Yeah. I think that's what the number is, over 1,000. Yeah. I've done a few. I don't get nervous anymore. How about that?
Okay, how? I've done 3,000. I get nervous every time. I feel like it's worse now than it was before.
No, I started out with podcasts in my basement and I would have a bottle of water and just guzzle like every time I wasn't, when they back then they weren't video podcasts. I no, I love it. I love it. I love to share a message. I love doing like being on TV, doing lifestyle stuff, product hacks and tips because I know it's going to make someone's life better. I don't know. I just love it, and I don't get nervous at all anymore. I don't get nervous on stages anymore. I can speak in front of thousands, and I just get fired up.
What was your favorite one to lifestyle hack to talk about?
Gosh, I have so many. I really do. I've actually started now on my Instagram and TikTok. I'm doing hacks every week, like cooking tips and hacks. And because now I'm cooking for two, which is really hard when you're used to cooking for a family because the kids are gone. And so I'm just, for all the empty nesters out there, start following me on Instagram and TikTok. I'm giving all kinds of good stuff. Today I filmed crab cakes for two. Yeah.
Ooh, yum. Okay,
I
I'm
have,
from Maryland, so Maryland crab cakes.
oh, yeah, girl, I'm in Virginia, not far
You're in
away.
Virginia?
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
like in Virginia this weekend. You want to get a cocktail?
maybe. Yeah.
Also, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I want you to know that I'm not joking about this. I am for real serious. Like, I will stop by and grab a cocktail with you at some
Uh,
restaurant. Anyway, so you did real like Mid-Atlantic crab cakes then.
oh, yeah.
Okay, I
Yes,
gotta.
I have Maryland lump crab meat that I used.
Yeah, I'm checking out that recipe like
Okay.
ASAP.
It's
Oh,
easy.
everyone
Yeah.
else should check out that recipe in case you're like running around wondering what a crab cake is and what a Maryland crab cake is.
Oh,
Check that recipe out because that there's a
little
difference.
filler, hardly any filler. You understand that if you're from Maryland.
Because I love going to other states and they're like, we have crab cakes, and I'm like, what do you?
Yeah, it's not a crab cake. No, bread with a little crab in it is not a crab cake.
No, no, that's okay. I'm not gonna lie. That's how I do my crab balls. So if you ever come
Oh,
to my house and I'm like, I'm having crab balls, I'm having crackers that have crab flavoring. Um,
okay.
now we were asking about your podcast. I was asked about the podcast. So how did the podcast get started? Where can we listen to this?
Yes. So the podcast got started because there was a certain CNN anchor who referred to a politician, a female politician, as being over the hill at 56. And that certain anchor was also 56. And again, my poor husband, well, not my poor husband, we've been together 30 some years. He knows. He's like, he could see the steam coming off of my head. I'm like, that's it. I'm starting a podcast. We're going to celebrate women over 50 because we're not washed up. We're not dead. We're not our mothers or our grandmothers 50. We are the healthiest, wealthiest, and most fit in history. They said they call us like we're like teenagers with money. We've done our stuff, we worked corporate, we stayed home, whatever we did, we raised our kids, we didn't have kids, whatever that is, but we're now in our 50s empowered to change the world and we have a whole lifetime left to do it. So I launched Living Ageless and Bold. I'm getting close to my 100th episode. I interview celebrities, but I also interview everyday people who are changing the world in their 50s, 60s, 70s. I even interviewed someone in her 80s who's a cheerleader. Like, it's amazing. It's so fun. The Sun City Poms. Well, they're pom pom gals. Not they're not doing the splits anymore. Um, but they're just stories that empower, and sometimes they're health tips. I have doctors on. I have just all different kinds of things to inspire you to not give up and to reinvent, and just to live your next chapter to the fullest.
That is so amazing.
I love it.
It makes me feel
I
like
love
I'm
it.
valued, and when I turn 50, I better still look just like this too.
Right, right. Yes, I'm not almost 60. I know. Although I tell myself today, I'm like, I need a little work done. But that's okay too. We don't do any judging either. You can
No.
do work, don't do work, do this, do that. We don't care. Everybody can do whatever they want to do. Color, don't color, doesn't matter.
So my last question is, what
Yeah,
advice will you give to people out there who are starting on their journey of getting a little publicity or starting a podcast? Can you give us
yeah,
3 tips to be successful?
yeah. Get your messaging clear. You only have a split second. The media will check you out. Your podcast listeners will check you out. Your potential clients and customers will check you out. Make sure when they land on your website, they know instantly what you do, who you serve, what pain you solve. It has to be that quick. That's number. I won't work with anybody till we get that part fixed first. Um, Number two is is know, like, be consistent in all of your platforms, what your message is, what you do. And ideally you want a niche as tight as you can, but that's a whole nother topic. You can't be everything to everyone. So what is it, who is the person you love to work with? If you could replicate them 100 times over, speak to them in the things that you do. And then when you're ready, when you check out, always say, do you check out? Because they will check you out. Then you have to pitch. And you're not going to get it if you don't do it. So I always say, I have an old coach who said to me, imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. So just start, just do it. Make sure it's good. And it's not about you, it's about value. Remember that value piece. But that's all you need to do to get started.
I lied to you. I'm sorry. I said that was going to be the last question. And as you were saying, I thought of
What
like a
else you got?
I had to ask, what do you wish you could tell yourself, like your beginning self, like now that you just knew, now, and you're like, oh my God, if I could just go back in time.
Just ask people for help. I mean, don't ask for $1 million. Don't, but at people are like, how do you get these celebrities on the podcast? I'm like, I asked. I reached out to publicists. I got a lot of no's. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking for a big one, and I got a lot of the ones. Halle Berry, Sarah Jessica Parker. I've gotten a lot of no's, but I've also gotten yeses. So don't, I guess, don't let the no's knock you down. Just keep trying, keep asking, and appreciate when you do get the good ones.
And how important is that subject line on a pitch email?
Oh, 1,000%. Because if if they're not intrigued by that, they're never going to read your pitch. And don't use clickbait. That's really important too. But it's so important. Don't just say, here's a pitch idea. No, you've got to give them something so they'll read your email.
Okay. Okay. Now, those are all the questions that, like, as you were talking, I was like, that was my last. I was like, oh, I lied. It was not my last. Now, can you tell people where to find you, your podcast, and more information to sign up to be a client, hopefully?
Yes. Everything is at ChristinaDaves.com. And I always say, if you can't find me online, I'm in big trouble and not doing my own job. But everything is on there.
Oh no, you can definitely find you. I actually found Christina Daves on a podcast. She was on somebody else's podcast, heard her talk, and I went, oh my God, so fun. Typed in the
Oh,
name,
cool.
poof, you're right
Oh,
there. So then did my
I'm there.
research. That's how I
That's
found.
awesome. Well, thank you. That's awesome.
So I'm gonna wrap it up for us over here. I'm Winona Marie, and I'm one of the And I Thought ladies. You can find out everything that your ladies are doing at www.andithoughladies.com. There's probably a few things there that I don't want you to know. I still haven't taken down, so you better be quick about clicking on that. No, I'm joking, because I might remember to take it down one day. When you go there, go down to the bottom of the page and you'll see the three charities that we proudly support. We ask that you give them a little help also. That does not mean you have to give them money. You know, you can get your hands dirty, go in there, work, build an orphanage, help some victims, or you could sometimes you have expertise that they really need to know. Go figure, you could give them that. And if you can't give them that, well, then there's just plain old cash. We thank you in advance for that. Remember that wisdom is all around you if you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Wilnona and the Missing Jade. Oh, yeah. Thanks for listening.